Hey, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Woodpreneur Podcast. This is your host, Steve. Today's guest is me. I don't have a guest today. This is more of a recap episode of 2022, but also kind of like a level set of 2023. And I'm going to be talking about just couple lists and trends and things that as a woodpreneur you need to pay attention to. So first off, I know there's a lot of you that are diehard listeners and fans of the podcast, and for that I just want to say thank you so much for sticking with the podcast. It's funny, December 2022 was our largest download to date. And so there are about 20,000 of you downloads in a month, which is crazy to think that there's 20,000 people that listen to this podcast. At first when I first started, I didn't really care about downloads, and I still kind of don't care about downloads. I care more about like providing really great stories and insights and lessons for the woodpreneur community. And so, last year, I would say that I probably took last year the most serious that I ever have with the podcast. Did my best to find good guests, and I know that a lot of you find a lot of value in the consulting sessions that I provide for folks. And so I'm super excited by that. Cause I love helping people. I love helping people with their businesses. So that's it for the podcast. Just in terms of my business, I think most of you guys know that I have a marketing agency, and I coach and mentor woodpreneurs like yourself. And maybe back up a bit. A woodpreneur is a woodworker, lumber sawyer, content creator, maker, furniture designer. I started extending into timber frame people, contractors, flooring people, like anybody that basically works with wood. That's who I work with. And so I started coaching people last year. I probably coached maybe 30 people, 25, 30 people. About five or six of them went full time. A couple of them have been on the podcast, like Olga and Justin and Kagan Cheney and from Coaches Custom. And so there's a bunch of people that have been full time. I've also helped people break six figures in their business in terms of coaching. My agency and my marketing business took. It's interesting. Like I went through some changes there. I could probably talk at length about it, but like learning to grow a team, build a team. I think most of you know that I was used to run a nonprofit, and so I did this on the side. So this 2022 was a year that I went full time on this, like Woodpreneur Acres of Timber. And so it's been a year of doing this full time, and it's awesome. I wouldn't turn it back for anything. I love working with woodpreneurs. I love growing it. I also stopped working with some longtime clients last year, and just kind of kept growing and learning. And my business did a little bit better than it did the year before, but my profitability went down because I invested so much in myself and mentors, experiences. I traveled a lot more. Last year I did 6 woodpreneur meetups, Chicago, Dallas, Indianapolis, San Diego, and Denver. So I was like 5. I feel like there was 6, but I think I did. Indianapolis, Chicago. Oh, and I did St. Louis as well. So that I did that with Martin Goebel. I ended up doing 6. So I did a lot of traveling. I did a lot of reconnecting with people. I invested a lot in mentors. I joined a couple masterminds and a couple mentors to help me just grow personally. And it was honestly, it's a lot of fun to just learn and network and grow. And so, I'm trying to think of like if there's a podcast that stood out last year, but I think they all stood out. I mean, I'd love for you to tell me either by texting me or by telling me, posting in the comments like what your favorite podcast episode was in 2022. But yeah, they were all pretty special to me. I love talking to them. So I'll just talk a little bit about this year. And this year, I got some changes. For one is I'm rebranding myself, and rebranding the company too. So, if you follow me on Instagram, I used to be, Acres of Timber. Now it's the La Roseliere. It's my last name, THE, and then my last name, LAROSILIERE. And so I'll tell you the reason why I did that is because I think like many of you, I hid behind my brand for so long. I hid behind a brand and a company name for so long. And, 2 years ago when I moved to Michigan and I was working at a sawmill, at my in-laws sawmill, I came behind the camera and I started showing my face more. And interesting enough, I was able to connect with people a lot better. And I teach this to the people that I coach and mentor as well. It's like, you got to really focus on your business, right? And you are the face of your business. So it's actually better that you focus and you show people who you are and what you do and build a relationship. And so like, me changing from Acres of Timber to the La Roseliere and my own personal name, personal brand is just an effort to truly connect with you a lot more. I want to be able to serve this community more, and I just didn't feel like I connected to Acres of Timber anymore. My business was changing as well. I wanted to start working with more construction, high-end construction people. I also wanted to do building materials and obviously, sawmill and woodworking and builders. So in addition to changing the name of my Instagram account, I'm also changing the name of my business, and it's called buildergrowth.io. So it's the website is not up yet, but we'll see. And I'm actually treating this like a brand new business. I just got incorporated. I'm going to get a new bank account, new merchant account, new website, new logo, like all of it. And I'm actually, along with that, starting a YouTube channel where I'm going to be documenting the process of me building this business and serving, the building material, construction, builder, industry, furniture design, sawmill. It's all the same to me. So I'm working. If you build stuff, I work with you, right? If you build with wood, use building materials, I'm working with you. And so that's been a big shift and change of what's happening this year. And just kind of expect to see me more out there, right? Like I preach a lot about building a brand, building a personal brand. So you're actually going to see me implement what I teach more. Doing YouTube and more podcasts, launching a brand new podcast specifically just for builders as well, with an old guest, Yalitza Mora, who owns a construction company in Dallas. So we're partnering up on that. And then look to bring back the Epoxy Business Podcast with Jake this year. We're still going at it, still strong. It's just a challenge running an epoxy business. Not gonna lie, but yeah, if you have a good team, good mission, I'm very, very optimistic about Olag, and we grew a lot last year. Actually, we grew a lot, yeah, we're looking to do the same again in 2023. So, what you're here for is I got a bunch of predictions and trends and tweets and a bunch of things that I'd love to share with you. And so I'm going to share like some trends and things that I see on the sort of building, furniture, woodworking, construction, lumber, and what are the things that I'm seeing in terms of trends and things that you should really pay attention to, and things that you can adopt in your business. And again, join our Facebook group, because we'll have more of these discussions in there. So Woodpreneur Life, there's at woodpreneurgroup.com. So it's a Facebook group. You can join. I talk about this. I do a lot of trainings, post as much as possible. I'm going heavy this year on it as well. So, all right. So top 10, I think I got like 15 things that I see here. So the first is just the use of technology in terms of, so whether it's 3D design software, virtual reality, things to help streamline the use of SketchUp we actually have a new client, and it's going to be a new sponsor of the podcast. But it's all about use of technology, like use of CRMs, ERP, enterprise resource management, like things that help you be more efficient. Inventory things. I know Trace kind of grew a lot last year. Inventory software. So those are the types of things that I'm seeing a lot of people. Listen, when I first got into this industry 6-7 years ago, there was nobody using technology. I mean, it was some software out there. Big sawmills were using them, big manufacturers. But now I'm starting to see small to medium-sized businesses. And, we have Acre CRM, which is a CRM that helps you streamline and automate your marketing processes. Those are the types of things that I see. All right, the second thing is demand for sustainable building materials and practices, and the use of recycled, reclaimed wood. So again, urban wood movement is growing, right? They're working on standards, Jennifer Alger, Urban Wood Network, all of those people, they're all working towards being more sustainable. And your clients are going to demand that, especially if you're in the construction industry. People are going to want to know that you're working to, minimize waste, and you're using sustainable materials. We just had John from Arbor Wood Co. thermally modified, that stuff, and his business is growing, right? So literally hop on that trend, be able to use more sustainable building materials, urban lumber. Try not to use, pallet wood. I mean, pallet wood is actually recycled wood as well, right? But plywood, big box stuff, start working with small local sawmills, lumber yards, and making sure that they provide, a pathway to sustainability in terms of your materials. Next is increase focus on energy efficiency, use of insulation, right? With that, it's how efficient can you be in your processes? So my father-in-law, he used a wood boiler, right? A lot of people are trying to be zero waste and more energy efficient, right? So you take your scrap wood from your sawmill, and the sawmill scraps either heat up your home or heat up your kiln if you have a dry kiln, right? And so those are the types of things that you can use in order to be more efficient. Making popularity of prefabricated and modular, right? This is if you start looking at ways to productize, if you have some core products and services, how can you productize it to the point where it's you build your own table kit, right? Or prefab a built-in, right? How can you create more efficient ways to like increase your processes, decrease your costs, increase profitabilities, right? Like, those are the types of things that I'm seeing there. I don't see a lot of this, but like robotics and automation in terms of that. So whether it's like investing in, you know, high quality planers, sanders, you know, heavy construction to just make sure that you are. And the best part about it too, a lot of people don't talk about this much, is you can get equipment loans, right? Like you can, especially if you're upgrading your technology, if you have a manufacturing plant, right? Like AI, robotics, like CNC, like those sorts of things. They all exist, and you can get loans in order to modernize your workspace, right? Increased demand for multi-use of lumber and building materials, right? So like, it's no lie that we're going to have a housing shortage everywhere. And there's a guy, Randall from Fireside. He's been a big proponent of using urban lumber for multifamily and affordable housing. But the challenge is like letting city and government officials know that this is an option. But there's going to be increased demand. It's going to move beyond slabs and go into you know, more dimensional, like home use sort of. There's a lot of lumber out there, a lot of lumber. And so to be able to just make sure that the lumber is actually having its purpose beyond just furniture and could be used in the home. Growing interest in design and aesthetics, right? Like, and unusual materials, finishes. Like, look, the only people that the epoxy are, you know, a lot of people say like epoxy is dead, but like, look, epoxy has a function, but it also has a design as well, with the colors. People love optionality when it comes to their wood products and their finishes. And so whether it's like the Japanese burning technique, or epoxy, or using certain types of finishes, there's an attraction to be able to have things that just look beautiful. And sometimes that's not going to be driven by you. It could be driven by designers and architects, which will then come down to folks like yourself. Again, PPE is a big growing trend, making sure that you're protecting your eyes, your ears, your ventilation, right? Like that's a big trend. And just growing demand for renovations, remodeling, as people choose to upgrade their homes. So not only what happens, because people are starting to see, and the pandemic has shown this, that the more time you spend on your home, the bigger and the more you invest in the home, the better it makes the value of your home increase, right? And so not only that, so they want to make use of space, and they also want to design and furnish the place too. So like, think of everything from, the shell and the frame and the design and the look, to the tables and the flooring and the shiplap. So if there's any trend that we saw during the pandemic was, and it's still continuing, people to invest in their home. And if you can position your company and your brand as something that can add value and add sort of like this aesthetic pleasing to someone's home, like the more likely that they'll work with you. So just a couple more. Repurposing reclaimed salvage wood. That's another. Increased demand for custom furniture, bespoke furniture, unique materials, exotic wood, right? Like, that's great. CNC and like Avid CNC and some of these CNC places, like company, the create. there's so much you can do with CNC. And so to be able to like utilize that as a equipment stack in your business can help really differentiate you. Live Edge, as far as I know, really isn't going anywhere. We'll see this year, but I still see people love Live Edge. And then, increase craftsmanship, detail, appreciate. Like the one thing that I saw in terms of and we'll go into the marketing end too, but like the thing that social media has done for people such as yourself is to help really highlight the detail and the craftsmanship and the hard work that goes into what you do. People never truly appreciated that before. They just ordered it and then but now people, if you can like really hone in on that, like for those that follow me personally on Facebook, you know that I started a charcuterie board side hustle, and I can't tell you the amount of business that I got just from my charcuterie board side hustle that came because people saw how much I was sanding and cutting and finish, like they just paid attention to it. And so your audience needs to know what goes into your product, and so there's an increased focus on craftsmanship and and detail. So those are, from a marketing, from like an industry perspective, those are the things that I see there. And so, next thing is that I want to talk about marketing. Like, what are the marketing trends that I want you to pay attention to this year, and what are ways that you can leverage these for your business? All right. So the first is influencer marketing. So the same way these brands go out and they find influencers for their brands, right? Like, whether it is a glue company or, CA glue company or, an epoxy company, they all have everybody with their affiliate codes, right? You can actually take that same tactic and strategy and bring on influencers with your company. So what does that look like? You can, if you make tables, you can partner with an influencer to design a custom table for their home. You could either sell it at a discount or give it away for free, but I would find a couple of influencers. You could do this with like smaller ticket items like charcuterie boards, right? If you do construction, or if you do flooring, or just anything that's like a really high ticket item, partner with a designer, right? Partner with an architect. There's a ton of these influencers out there. Like there's DIY mom bloggers, right? Like there's just all these influencers. An influencer could be an athlete in your town. It could be a television host. It could be a newscaster. Like anybody with influence and an audience, you can partner with them and have them be part of your business, right? It could, so that's that. The second thing is video marketing, right? So video, as we know right now, TikTok has taken over, right? TikTok is a real thing. I'll probably be delving more into TikTok in 2023, but Reels, Instagram is no longer a photo sharing app. It is now a video sharing app. And then if you also look at Facebook, right? Facebook and even LinkedIn, they have all sort of prioritized video, right? So what does that say for you? You should be posting more videos, period. That's what you should be doing. So creating and sharing videos to connect with your audience and promote your products and services. Make sure that you turn the camera around, turn the phone around, place it on you, start talking, show what you do. And the key with video is quantity over quality. So stop obsessing about, how much you got, like making things perfect. Just put it out there. The third trend on marketing in 2023 is personalization. So, making sure that you're using data to create personal messages, marketing messages, and experiences. So I do this with the people that I coach and I mentor. It's like making sure that you know exactly who your audience is, right? And by knowing exactly who your audience is, kind of like the way that I talk to you, is you can cater your messages to them. So you can speak directly to them. I worked with woodpreneurs, right? If I'm speaking directly to sawmills, I can talk to sawmills. So like knowing exactly who your target audience is. And if you want a good idea about who your target audience is, look at your last 5 customers. Like look at your last 5 customers to see exactly who they are, and come up with like a makeup, a psychographic and demographic makeup on who they are, right? Okay, fourth is interactive content, creating polls, quizzes, games, contests, all of those things. Anything, because I think what this all boils down to is that you as a woodpreneur, as somebody that's running this business in this industry, you need to build a brand and a community. That's it. You need a community around yourself, right? The fifth one is micro moments, right? Creating targeted, relevant messages that anticipate and respond to customers' needs in real time. So this, on a simple scale, it could be like when you're in the middle of making something, your client isn't there. It's about recording a video and sending it to them. Right? It's about when you put the finish on the floor, or you can create these little moments where you can help people, right? Next is storytelling. If there is a skill that I want you to develop in 2023, it is the ability to make your point in 90 seconds, ideally 60 seconds. And if you can, 45 to 30 seconds. But like telling stories in a very short period of time is going to be really, really clutch, because again, people right now, short attention spans, you need to get to your point within the first 3 to 7 seconds, right? And once you get them hooked, then you can continue to reel them in, right? Next is AI, artificial intelligence. So I'm still kind of learning more about this, but I know that AI-driven tools is like AI copywriting, chatbots, virtual assistants, predictive analytics, right? Like leveraging AI to create a better customer experience is going to be, if you know how to use this, it's going to be clutch. It's going to be really, really clutch. And so I'll be diving in more into this in 2023, and whatever I share, I will share with you. All right. Voice search optimization and, optimizing website and content for voice search to improve visibility and voice-based search results. So it's crazy. I learned that the video, you have to make sure that when you are posting video, you should be making your video keyword heavy and rich. What does that mean? So if I'm posting a video online and I'm talking about tables, I need to mention table, my location, basically anything where somebody would search for you. Because right now TikTok and YouTube and even Instagram, they are search engines. So people are going there to search. They're not going to Google. They're going to like those social platforms to search. So you have to make sure that in your videos that you are making it search friendly. Is that crazy? All right. Then is, I haven't seen this yet, but I have seen, at least in the construction field, the 9th is virtual reality, augmented reality, right? So this is kind of like creating an experience for your clients before they buy with you and while they're working with you, right? And so whether it is creating a 3D mock-up of what something looks like and placing the family in the video, or whether it's a video walkthrough of the build that you're building, the addition or the home that you're building for somebody. And how can you make it feel real for them so that they say yes, right? Like, how can you envision your product or service and create an experience so somebody gets to experience it before they buy from you, right? So, like, think about that. Again, these are things that I'm seeing, and how they can be applied to you. And then the last thing is, like, authenticity and transparency. So, like, again, I started talking about this whole entire thing about how I am changing my business. I am no longer Acres of Timber. I'm Steve Lariziliere on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube and all my social platforms. I just happen to work with woodpreneurs, and construction and building materials and lumber and sawmill and wood designers, right? Like, that's who I work with. But I'm Steve first, right? And so I share. I'm authentic. You can hear my voice. You can see my home, right? And how can you translate the need for authenticity and transparency in your business, right? How can you translate that even more? And so, that is the final marketing trend for 2023. I'm really excited for this year. I know a lot of people are talking about a recession. I did a training on that last year. If you want it, I will share it with you. You just have to message me. But yeah, follow me at The Lariziliere, TheLarosiliere, on Instagram and on TikTok, and subscribe to YouTube. I'm going to be going heavy into more of this stuff. Again, I'm committed to this field. I'm making sure that you all are successful, can grow businesses. And I have to tell you that, like, one of the things that I'm committed to this year with buildergrowth.io, my new company, the rebranded Acres of Timber, is that I'm planning to do some good. So want to do more events this year, but I also want to, like, take part of my profits and like build stuff like schools and classrooms and, fund the shelters and homes, right? Like, collaborating with other people and this community to, like, do good. Want to create more jobs and opportunities. Like, this is more than just, doing podcasts and helping people make an extra, $100,000, $200,000 or $1 million a year. It's about actually doing good in this world. And I would say that the last thing that I want to say is, like, you got to look at every opportunity in front of you, right? Like, I lost my dad in 2021, and one of the things that I learned is that, like, tomorrow isn't guaranteed. All we have is today, and you got to stop hiding behind some idea that somebody's going to come and save you, or one day I'll work up the courage to actually pursue my dreams and goals. And so I've been fortunate enough to do a lot in my life and a lot in my career, and I want to help you grow, scale, and maybe exit, right? Like, and so I want you to ask yourself, like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Right? What's the end goal? In 10 to 15 years, what do I want my life to look like? And literally reverse engineer a path to getting there. And I want you to think really, really big. Okay, so depending on when you listen to this, I will have either had or I will have a workshop. And so I am planning a planning workshop, and you can attend. It's $100. And it is going to be live. I'm going to be recording it live, but there'll be a recording and a whole thing afterwards. So go to woodpreneur.com/planning workshop. Woodpreneur.com/planning workshop. It will be in the show notes as well. And I want you to get the course and go through the exercises, and I want you to plan your year. That's it. All right? Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I hope you had a great holiday season, and I wish you an amazing, amazing year. I hope you get everything you want. Wish you many health and happiness and success, and I want you to get everything that you want this year. All right? Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you guys soon.